Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Clarity, the Undistorted Truth About Dementia. Today we're going to talk about the holidays. We're going to talk about some strategies to get through the holidays as stress-free and as smoothly as possible. And for this video, we're going to combine Thanksgiving and Christmas, just because it's that time of year and because we're really not talking about the specifics of what each holiday entails. We're talking about the principles that can be applied for us to practice to make these kinds of situations a little smoother, a little easier to navigate. So even though we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, these same principles can be applied to something like a wedding, a birthday party, some type of large family gathering, something where there's a lot of people involved, a lot of social pressure involved, and just where there's generally a lot of commotion. So we're going to keep those things in mind while we talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas, specifically for this video, just for illustration purposes. So to start out, I want you to think about what your goals are for the holiday. What does a successful holiday look like? Is it having the house full of people? Is it everyone being at your house until midnight? Is it having the perfect dinner? Is it people sharing toasts? All of those things are fine to do, but is that your goal, or is that something that you want to happen in the evening? And how important, how dire is it that those things happen? If your goal is anything other than to spend time with the people who are close to you and have them feel loved, I'd like to challenge you to reevaluate your goal. Because if the goal is for your family or friends or who you choose to spend holidays with, those people who are closest to you, if your goal is to make sure that people at the end of the day walk away feeling loved, or you know that when you put your head down at the pillow at night, then there's a lot of things we can talk about to take pressure off of the day, to make things less stressful for you and your loved one who's struggling with dementia. The reason I say this is because if you've been following these videos, you know the thing I say in almost every single one of them is that feelings last longer in memory than facts. So if we can have the right feeling, the right tone to the day, it doesn't matter what specific things happen. It doesn't matter if you've followed every tradition to the letter of the law and that what you've done in the past. What matters is, do they feel involved? Do they feel loved? Do you feel like you created a happy, warm home? Those are the things that are going to be the most important, rather than who carved the turkey, or whether or not you need to take a break in opening presents, those kinds of things, because those kinds of things are probably going to be very necessary to address. So one of the things that a lot of people struggle with when they're caring for someone with dementia, especially during a holiday season, is it's very easy for that person to become overstimulated. And we've talked about this in other videos before. Sometimes behaviors come out of overstimulation, some anger, some frustration, some yelling, or people shut down because there's so much coming at them that they don't quite know how to respond. And so that fight or flight response tends to kick in at an inappropriate time. There's also something I want you to think about. I don't think we've talked about this in a video before, but there's quite a bit of research that shows when someone has dementia, sound comes at them with the same level of importance. All sound comes at the same level of importance. So the noise of a crinkling wrapping paper from a gift being opened comes at that person with the same amount of importance as somebody talking to them. Or if there's caroling in the background, that tends to drag attention towards that sound instead of what's happening right in the room, and that can lead to overstimulation, and that can be very frustrating. So what I want you to think about is how can we minimize clutter, whether that's physical clutter in the home, whether that's noise, or whether that's people. How can we keep things as smooth and even as possible? Now, I'm not saying kick your family out. If you've got great grandkids that want to come over, that's fine. But you need to talk to your family ahead of time. We've been talking a lot about communication and how to bring everybody into the same page. Talk to your family and say, hey, Dad's really struggling in these areas, so how about we set an hour that we do this? Or if I say we need to take a break, we need to take a break. Or Dad might need to take a nap at some point in time. Those kinds of things. Set some parameters. Get everybody on your page and your side to say, we want to have a wonderful day, so here's some things that I need from you to help us have a wonderful day. Or here's an area where you can help me. Because again, the focus of holidays are to support and love each other. Your family and those people that are close to you are going to likely be very open to and wanting to help you, wanting to do something that is going to help ensure that you have a good holiday. It's okay to set some parameters and some boundaries on things. It's okay to say, you know what, it's going to be too much for us to have a house full of people. How about if we come over for 2 hours? That's what Dad can tolerate. Something like that. And I'm not sure that that's exactly the scenario that you're in. I'm just throwing out some suggestions. But examine what is actually going to be successful, not what do I want to be successful. Because if you try to force something to happen and you're battling that person's cognition, you're battling, you're fighting a losing battle. You're not going to be able to bring that person out of their dementia for an evening. So what you need to do is adapt the evening to meet their cognitive level. And that sometimes that can be depressing. Sometimes that can be challenging. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't have to be depressing if it's coming from a place of love. It doesn't have to be overwhelming to you if you're thinking about that person and thinking, what would be an expression of support to this person? Because those feelings last longer than the facts in memory, that is a way of helping them have a successful holiday and expressing your concern and your compassion and your thoughtfulness towards that person. So I want you to think about this really in a way of not my whole world has to be upside down, but just a small adaptation to life is going to be all the difference in the world to that person you're caring for. Because something else I want you to think about is, and this is going to sound terrible, so be ready for it, what if this is our last holiday? Really, for any of us, we never know. You know, we can hit a deer on the way home. God forbid. Nobody wants that to happen. But especially when we're talking about someone who is declining cognitively, you really never know. So I don't want you to dwell on that and be doom and gloom about it. But I want you to ask yourself that, what if this is their last holiday? What are the things that I would remember? Is the thing that I'm going to remember that I made a 6-course dinner? Or is the thing I'm going to remember that we spent time together? That we were able to come together as a family? That there was no stress in the evening? That we could all just be together? Now, every family functions a little bit differently. So sometimes a no stress looks different or is sometimes impossible for various reasons depending on your family dynamics. And I've got another video, it's a long video about communicating with your family. If that's something you're struggling with, please check that out. But the purpose of this, these thought exercises, the things I want you to think through in your mind and go over, is to think about the heart of the situation And what do I really value in my family and in this time together? And how can we bring out the things that matter the most and get rid of the things that are frivolous? Because most people don't remember, the most wonderful dinner that was in front of them. You remember that you have dinner. You might not remember the pictures on place cards and the details that tend to take up so much time and energy. But you do remember we all ate dinner together. We all had a wonderful time. We got to, share stories together. We got to spend some time. And hopefully, Grandma didn't have some, crying fit because she didn't understand what was happening. We want to capture those things that are going to lead to the positive, happy moments and minimize the things that are going to put people in a situation where they're set up to fail. We want to set them up for success. So these are the things I want you to think through. I want you to evaluate, what does a successful holiday look like to you, and how can we get there? And then I also want you to think about what is most important thing at the end of this holiday. That's really going to be what sets you on a path for success and sets you with appropriate expectations. Sometimes a lot of the stress of the holiday comes from unrealistic expectations. And it's okay to look forward to Christmas with your family. Of course you should. I'm not saying don't look forward to a holiday, but try not to get caught up in all of the details, because the details may need to change. And when you're able to be flexible for a person who is incapable of being flexible because of their cognition, that is a real expression of true love. So I want you to think about those things. I want you to write in any questions that you may have. We may not have another video before Thanksgiving, but we'll definitely have some more before Christmas. And we'll be talking about some of these topics further. So please email your questions in to dementiaundistorted@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. And if these videos are helpful to you, please share them with someone. You never know who is out there who is struggling through this holiday season. And if we can bring a little bit of comfort and ease a little bit of that stress, then that's what we exist to do. So until next time, we'll see you later.